Namaste, Jai Bharat. So many things had been happening in the world of geopolitics, especially for last 1 week, little 1 week plus. Suddenly, tariffs after tariffs by Trump, which pushed many others really to a corner. The situation of Bharat is what I'm trying to speak of right now. Bharat was not against the US at any point in time, but never wanted to succumb to the kind of bullying which US had been doing to all people. This, this is the situation. We never disliked the US. We were never inimical to US. We were not against the interest of US, the people of US. We are not against the interest of them. Their interest, whatever they have, and we don't want. We don't contemplate to bring any kind of harm to the people of America. This has been our consistent behavior, but at the same time, a self-respecting nation, with a history which others can't even imagine, and with a culture and tradition which is immensely rich, would remain self-respecting in spite of all kinds of votes, as history shows us. When the subjugation of Bharat was too harsh by the Muslims for 800 years, and then by the European colonies, primarily British, for another 200 years, this 1,000 years of domination, subjugation, which had impoverished the nation, did not impoverish the pride of Bharat, which rests on her history and tradition and knowledge tradition. This thing remained unaffected. You could only take the wealth, and the wealth we would get back, but the Sanskriti, if it goes, we can't get back. And we have never compromised with the Sanskriti of Bharat in spite of the harsh Muslim rule for 800 years. All other places in the world where they lived more than 50 years, they successfully turned the entire society and nations into Islam. And 800 years, nothing significant happened to Bharat. And those who converted to Islam in Bharat remained Indians, by and large. And those who could not, they had gone to Pakistan, or they had created a Pakistan. That also had the instance of many people who wished the destruction of Bharat. So that's a kind of self-respect nation we never. Because of this present moment, I need not to speak about the details of tariffs coming and going. Many tariffs, so many persons, without realizing they are doing it. US is doing it, Trump is doing it, because ultimately who will end up paying this? The people of US will end up paying it. That they have to deal with, or he has to deal with it. There had been a kind of association, BRICS, which did not become that formidable because of some kind of differences between China, Bharat, etc. The difference between Bharat and China is just simple. It's only border conflicts. They won't compromise, we won't compromise. As we wouldn't like somebody else to take our land, but at the same time, we wouldn't want anyone's property, anyone's land to us. We wouldn't compromise on that kind of things, because we don't want somebody's property. When someone thinks that what we have is their property, then of course we will not be able to yield, and we have not yielded so far. So that border dispute is, but which the border dispute between China and Bharat is only dispute, and this dispute, do you think it can be that serious? It's not that serious. It can be talked over, or at least put in abeyance for the time being, because of the kind of cornering which the US is trying to do to the world. They were trying to become world bully. This naturally brings China and Bharat together because we have a common cause. Whatever difference is there, they would either discuss and get over with that, or they would keep it in abeyance for later discussions. This made BRICS stronger. BRICS could not become stronger for these kind of things in spite of the wish of many other members. But this kind of activity becomes a catalyst or a booster to the strength of BRICS, which is happening. Which is happening. My Prime Minister is going to China. Russian Premier is coming to Bharat. Things would be sorted out, and this would make, and of course the Brazilian president, Prime Minister, I suppose, president, is coming and meeting. So, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and few others are also members of BRICS. They would join hands, and if they join hands, many things can change. The world order can change. There is already an instance of our Bharat UPA paying system had gone to at least 5 countries. And if this UPA paying system can be extended, at least among BRICS nations, we would have to trade in dollar. Because this is all we will have some kind of conversion trades between our currencies, and once it is done, it will go automatically. We pay in UPA. We are not paying in cash. So dollar has no role. And if dollar has no role, US is losing definitely. Their grip, they are losing. And if this thing happens in one corner, same thing happened to many other nations who are unhappy with trading in somebody's money. See, if you want to buy, if you want to trade in dollar, first of all, you must buy dollar. So ultimately, it's U.S. economy benefited, but U.S. is in deep problem with such debt they are in, and Trump is trying to oversee things in such a manner that he would get rid of the debt, and he is going for this kind of unscrupulous methods of putting tariff. He has problems, and his problems will continue. His internal market will revolt against him. Simple case of pharma. The cheap and quality best pharma products are from Bharat. And the world knows that pharma head is Bharat. Because they maintain quality and they also maintain the cost effectiveness. When he is trying to talk about putting tariff on pharma products, all products in Bharat, and pharma as well, then who will end up paying? A common American citizen. An American middle class person would find it very difficult to live in such situations, which should have been a concern of the President of the US. An American middle class person will have to pay more in all kinds of things once trade suffers. There's already a dictum in hanging in the air that there is no trade with Bharat. There is no trade with the US from our side too. Well, we will find other markets. In time, we will have our sufferings, but then we are already prepared to face it. We are a nation who fought and came forward, and we fought through non-violence, and don't forget it. We came up with nobility and decent steps. Normally, if the relationship between Bharat and the US was normal, we would not have been in support of BRICS to this extent of going for a BRICS currency or this interface UPA paying system, etc., which would bring unpleasantness to US. So we would not have gone for that. And now, of course, they themselves have destroyed the relations. What do we care? We'll go strong. And in time, the US has to face the consequences of all those things. We'll face, but we're prepared. You're not used to sufferings. We're used to sufferings. Rather, we take sufferings as a blessing to further enlightenment. That's the Bharatiya philosophy. That's the Bharatiya Sanskrit. So let's see what happens tomorrow, how things will turn out. But then keep a watchful eye on things that's happening around you. And you can judge for yourself. It's a common sense understanding how things are going forward, who is going to be in trouble. I'm sure US is going to be in deep trouble, much deeper trouble than what anyone can imagine. The people will have to face this. It's only the people will have to face it, nobody else. The people will have to pay and end up paying more. All these tariffs. Tariffs are there, but ultimately who pays the tariffs? a citizen of the United States. He was buying something for $1, now will let buy for $10. And where the money will come, no one knows. There is no guarantee. So the market gets loose. The markets gets loose. There will be inflation. And there will be problems. A middle class man will have problems. All people in US are not rich class. That's a problem in capitalistic economy. There will be many who are not falling into the rich class. Middle class and lower middle, several middle classes, lower middle class, middle and medium middle class and upper middle class. All the three have equal problems, almost equal problems with small variations. They will have to end up paying for this. But watch, this is academically interesting to watch how the world is getting twisted and turned by one person's fancy. One person's fancy, interesting. Of course, one person's fancy had changed the world into so many directions. I shall not speak anything more. You can imagine for yourselves. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.